We're back, people, and today we're bringing a film on Tanner Conner, Miami Dolphins, tight end slash fullback. He's been having some rave reviews during this training camp from the beat reporters and his teammates like Jonnu Smith, Jody Fortson. He's a former wide receiver convert out of Idaho State, blazing speed. That stuff really shows up, and I think we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I think he's kind of found a role like within this offense. Like he's always been like that move tight end. They're trying to develop him as a blocker. But he kind of found a role last year as like a fullback and started in preseason and going into the regular season and the limited snaps he played. He played a majority of them at fullback. And then in college, really got to show off his speed and his ability as a receiver. I think if he can really bring that and they develop that at the NFL level, that's where he can finally take the next level. But he does have an intriguing skill set. I still think he has an uphill battle to make the roster. But if he keeps this, trend going of how he's practicing and continues in the preseason, he has a good chance. And even if he doesn't make the roster, he's the type of guy that I expect to stick around on the practice squad, like a pretty high chances of that. He's developed as a blocker. He still needs to improve in that area, play with a little more physicality. But there is definitely something to work with here. He's the type of skill set they're looking for at the position. It's just now can they get back to unlocking that receiver side to his game? Because it's definitely there. You could see the explosiveness he had in college. They just haven't really had the chance of utilizing that at the NFL level, because this guy flies down the field and has, just that intriguing skill set that they're looking for. And then that fullback stuff is very, very intriguing here, just as a lead guy. Because he did play, there was 2 games where he was like the backup to Ingold, where he played late in games when they were kind of blowing teams out. And he went out there and, threw his body into people. This one's the preseason game, but he did it against the Panthers and versus Washington. And it wasn't a bad showing. He's not gonna completely gonna move people, blow them up like Ingold, but he can go out there and put a body on someone, still take someone out of the play, and then potentially be used more of as a receiving threat because he has blazing speed, like 4.3 speed. Get a hat on a hat, at least showing some physical toughness here to meet this linebacker. It doesn't completely move him out of the play, but it gives him a running back a chance to work off him and then get downhill pretty quickly, make some decisions. So finding that home at fullback, definitely very intriguing. I think having a former wide receiver that can play some fullback, like it's something that you're seeing. Like even the Rams were using like a Skoranek, who was just a receiver playing fullback. Conner has that size, so definitely feels like it's someone they've been trying to develop for quite some time. Definitely, I think they're a fan of him. At least McDaniel is, and he's someone I think I expect to stick around. Here's another example of him just leading into the hole, dropping a shoulder into the linebacker. I like how he attacks like this side of the linebacker, which gives the running back a chance to work off his back. And then once he throws his body into him, his shoulder, he's able to reset right here. Look how he resets, repositions himself, gets his hips, his feet in a good spot, and then gets his hands back inside the chest plate to get control. Those types of plays definitely give me some decent hopes that he can potentially be a fullback development stuff. I still don't have super high hopes he makes the roster, but he's a guy that I do still expect to be around on the practice squad. Probably get elevated at some point, see some sort of playing time. But he does have some intriguing stuff. Here he is more as a move tight end, get him on the move, kick someone out on the edge. He'll throw his body. He's just not the, best, most dominant blocker, which is kind of be expected from a receiver convert. But that's kind of all he's really done at the NFL level. He's rarely got used. I think he got 1 target as a rookie and then he dropped it and then just never really saw the ball again. But if you watch him here, this is his college stuff. Look how explosive he is at his size. Just running past this guy in one-on-one coverage. Blows by him. He has 4.3 speed. Catches that ball. I just imagine if they can re-unlock this, because sometimes it takes a while for tight ends receiving skills to develop at the next level. This is where he can super be intriguing in this offense with the role he's playing to be used as a mismatch guy. And apparently at training camp they've been talking about him just getting the ball, because with Jonnu wasn't practicing one day and he had a pretty good practice. He also is showing off the speed on special teams, which if he's doing that on special teams and being physical out there, making tackles, being involved, that gives him a much better chance of making the roster special teams, especially as a late tight end guy. But there is still something to be intrigued with here. That type of speed, athleticism is not normal for a guy of his size. And then if he's able to develop still his skills as a blocker and then be able to use that speed to his advantage, because he can be a clear out guy too. You don't even have to get targets. If you can be a guy that can run the clear out routes within this offense at a good time, And then also maybe be a red zone threat. Look at the ability to, win when you're not creating separation, locate the ball, attack it at its highest point, body control in air, finish down. That's some good stuff too. And then we get back to, preseason here against the Jaguars. Him just working out on the edge, basically as a lead blocker out in space, throwing his body into people. I like this work here because, the offensive lineman isn't able to get out there and reach him in time, this linebacker. So he drops his shoulder into him because he's trying to get out to this safety. He drops his shoulder to help out this O lineman here to give his running back now enough time to get to the edge around him and then still get up and then find the safety. He does his job pretty well. Very, very intriguing to see someone. He's not for a wide receiver coming out of college, he was a big wide receiver. For a tight end fullback, he's still on the smaller side. That's why he's going to be this move guy. Get him involved in the backfield. Now imagine if you can get him some one-on-one matchups on a linebacker, or you give him those flat routes that Ingold would get. There's some intrigue to have, and I think you just see more explosive plays. He just doesn't give you that consistency as a blocker yet, but I'm still trying to develop him going into his year 3. And I'm excited to see because last year he didn't get to play too much. I think he really only played in one preseason game, and it was this one, and he worked mostly as a blocker. So I'm hoping to see in this upcoming preseason that they use him more as as a receiver, get him involved. Here he is in line. This really isn't his type of thing, but when he's in line, he can work on a double team. Here he is with Julian Hill working a double team and then climbing to second level. If he's going to be an inline guy, he's not going to straight up base block people. He'll try, but it's just not his game. I mean, most tight ends struggle to do it. But if you want to get him on the move, kick people out, allow him to use his athleticism, out in space where he's a little more comfortable. That's where, you can see better things from Tanner Conner. But we're hearing more and more positives about him. I feel like the coaching staff has been high on him. Even though he didn't make the main roster last year, he still stuck around the practice squad. He got elevated, saw playing time. That's kind of what I expected the least for him this year. Here versus Brian Burns, late in the game, they're motioning him in. He was at tight end, but they basically motion him back into the backfield. But it allows him to pick up momentum and then basically block an edge on space. Brian Burns is a really good player. And, it at least shows some toughness, some strain here. Decent base, could have better hand placement, but he's fighting, getting Burns fired up too because they were scrapping a little bit after this play, talking trash to each other. But I just want to see more as a receiver because I know what he can be capable of in that area. It's such a rare and unique ability to have that type of speed. And clearly the players notice it, because in that tight end room, he's the fastest tight end, and they have some explosive tight end players, going based off 40 times. Here he is in that Washington game, throwing bodies into people. I feel like he just needs to build up a little more of a natural ability as a fullback, as instincts, because sometimes he looks a little hesitant, and I don't think it's he's scared to hit people. I think it's because he'll throw his body. I just think he doesn't feel he doesn't always know exactly who to go to. He's hesitating to read off, throw his body in there. But still getting involved, could do a better job creating space here. Just there is a little bit of a cluster when he gets up into this block with the tackle, the other tight end pulling, and he just kind of throws his body into the mix. At least creating some push there, the whole group. So definitely some intrigue here. Little off ball, but basically straight up base blocking a defensive end and doing a pretty good job. One of his better technique reps with good base, hand placement's good inside. He's able to reset that hand underneath. He's straining here, using good job with his lower half. Reset his hands back on and hold on long enough for an edge, straight up base blocking him. Doing a good job allowing, Jeff Wilson to work off, some of that, duo stuff on the inside. You get your tight end isolated. Pretty good rep. And then continuing to kick out. Definitely, I think, more comfortable when he gets to be on the move on people because people aren't able to just straight up one-on-one beat him with power, which is where he'll struggle, but he's able to, cut them off, use that athleticism to his advantage. Last play that we're going to look at here, it's him down in line, but it's him climbing up to the next level. You can just see, look at this speed to get up to that safety so fast. Him blocking out in space is definitely better, but it's also just kind of showing this play. It doesn't play a huge effect on the play. Maybe him taking out the safety does help. I think that's Ahmed get closer to the end zone, and I think score here actually. Yeah, he scores, and maybe that guy never had a chance, but it is nice to just see those movement skills. That type of stuff is definitely rare, and not something you see. So after watching the film, there's not much to go off of. I'm still have my question marks. Want to see him develop, but there's good signs being pointed. I still expect him to stick around at least on the practice squad. That's still what I'm expecting. I'm still thinking he's a practice squad guy because the tight end battle is pretty tough. But he does have a chance if he keeps going in that direction. Work on special teams. I want to see him more as a receiver this preseason. You can see the explosiveness. Look at him just cook that guy, like absolutely cook him, like so explosive. Like his explosiveness is insane, very unique to have that type of explosiveness for the position that he's playing at the NFL level. And not the greatest blocker, but he's been working and improving. So you got to bring back that receiving side of his skill set, and then also just utilize that speed at the tight end position to clear out and create space over the middle of the field. So if you guys didn't know, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and